The second game of the playoffs was Liquid against EDG. It started off on Haven. I felt like EDG were having a bit of a rough time with their defaults. Nat started off at the beginning holding towards Garage, and a lot of the time with that information, Liquid just stacked over towards A on multiple rounds, and they just had good crossfires to close out a lot of these. Felt like EDG, they were pretty good at doing a default in the last Haven I saw, and it felt like this one, they kind of needed to do that more. I think they maybe overfought, because Chichu was just walking into Garage all the time in the game before. It felt like maybe they overfought, and felt like they couldn't start the game off with him trying to pressure Garage. So got a little bit later into it, they started at least getting information as to where the Killjoy setup was, and it started looking a bit like the EDG that we saw in the Na'Vi game, where it was just individual greatness bringing them rounds. Stuff like this, every time Kang, I'm actually really confident that every time Kang has his knives, it feels like he gets first kill. Every single time he opens it up, it is an eco for them, gets the gun, and then just snowballs into this. Extra dash on top to catch Redgar off guard. Individually, he actually had a very good series. I was still pretty impressed. There was a good amount of mid-rounding. This round was pretty interesting as well. So Chichu just making a default, just getting a lot of info here. I want you to focus on Soulcast. He has just done a sky flash over towards A, and now he's done a dog and he's cleared out all of A if I've drawn on the minimap. This gives Safe the information that no one is over towards A, so then he decides to swing over towards long, take the shot, and he brings them down. Almost gets a collat, 1 HP for Smoggy, meant that the smoke could come in reactively and his teammate could just flood the site, just meaning that they could win this round. So I thought that was really good. Obviously time was low here, so just a shout out to Soulcast. His util was honestly a big reason why they won a lot of these rounds, in my mind. EDG, again, had moments of greatness individually. Haodong in this round was just everything. Getting a 4K to secure it. It was another eco, and it was literally just eco. It was eco after eco. There were some crazy rounds, and it just felt like it was just back and forth the whole time as to who won and who lost the rounds, and you couldn't really predict anything. It turned into a very scrappy game. There was a lot of cool things that we saw. This was one from Safe. Does mess up his dash, but I loved what he did here. And I just loved how Liquid actually approached A itself. I was talking about Soulcast getting information. He gets an information there in terms of flashing short. Just wanted to see if anyone could have timed Safe. And the fact that he did this smoke to get this angle again, and with the flash over towards short to clear it, just meant that they could have the heavier stack of the 2-2, which meant that they could win this round. So even though Safe getting pushed off the angle, I love that he actually decided to do the second smoke and still retake this angle with the flash from Soulcast to make sure that they could have a heavier stack. This is what I was talking about. That was the first half done. It was, back and forth, a lot of good reactions, a lot of individuals stepping up. Really crazy half, to be honest with you. And it kind of didn't stop there. We maybe saw some better mid plays, like mid rounding and good reactions in this half in comparison to just individuals. Liquid go over towards their pistol. I thought this was a great pistol, honestly, for everyone. Everyone's reaction is really good here. They go over towards B. They take a lot of map control. In reaction to losing B, EDG decide to push through Garage and push through Spawn. They expect the person to spawn. We go down into a 4v3. Liquid reactively push over towards A main, and at the same time, Redgar has pushed over towards Garage. So everyone's doing great. Everyone's taking a lot of map controls. Like I'm saying, the reactions is spot on from all these players. Soulcast does unbelievable. It's a 2v4, and the fact he gets 2 makes this one doable. Redgar with his reaction, like we said, went all the way from Garage, gets into this position. Smoke has been taken down, so they have no vision to block this, and Redgar just hits some nice shots. Just great reactions from everyone. The protocols of when they've lost B to push over towards A, and same thing with Liquid once they kind of lost these players in these positions to take map control. Huge shout out to Soulcast again, and Redgar for winning this one. I thought it was just really nice round overall from both teams. Here we have another B round coming in from Liquid. It's actually probably one of the most B hits that we've seen. It was a lot of B hits non-stop. Probably the most I've seen from Haven. I liked this as well from Liquid, just being super proactive, taking a lot of map control. EDG never really fast Sight retake and insta-stick the spike. It's not like DRX where they're instantly sticking like half of the spike or they're instantly getting on the spike to create pressure. This smoke goes up. There isn't actually too much util on it until you see the breach damage. And they just took a long time to tap the spike itself. And again, I like Liquid's reactions. They took garage control. They had a luck from Redgar. And I just thought the plan was really nice, right? They were just trying to delay for Redgar's luck. And taking garage and having the lineup for the aftershock was really cool here. Yeah, EDG, maybe just a little bit too slow. Something we used to implement into Fish 123 is like as soon as we take a site, you insta-stick. You insta-stick the spike, or you at least tap it to bait out some of the utility. This is something that I wanted to point out here. This is when it started getting a bit close. It's 10-7, the op comes out, and just the pressure alone of the op and a lot of fast kills come. I think Redguard died twice like this, TPing into the smoke. It was a bit of a nightmare. Just meant that Liquid actually had a bit of a struggle. The op came in. It felt like their defaults. They were losing the first kill all the time. So that was what happened for the last 2 rounds. We got up to 10-9 and Emil called a timeout. It felt like they were struggling against the op. They were just losing, like I said, too many picks at the beginning. Calls a timeout, and like I said on stream, I said I wanted to see something faster. They insta hit over towards B with 15 seconds in. They're on B side itself. Loved it. Safe's movement in some of these rounds is incredible. I thought this was just so well played from him. He had some incredible rounds. This Haven was actually a bit of a jet off, in my opinion. You're going to see a really cool ult here from Yampi, and just Redgar getting into good position, knowing that this ult wouldn't hit him as well. I thought this was really cool, just knowing that he can stick in this corner and the beginning of the ult is going to miss him. Yeah, just thought the afterplant was great, and that's luck coming into play as well. I just thought, yeah, their B hits and their B afterplants was what won them a lot of this, for sure. This next round kind of decided it for me. This was pretty much the final nail in the coffin. It was a 3v4 in favor of EDG, and Yampi, Safe, and Soulcast all played this really well to get the kills. It was a little bit unlucky in terms of nobody to not win this. Got slightly unlucky with that one. But yeah, that was kind of like the final nail in the coffin for me here. Good game from everyone. I liked what I saw. Safe was a big standout, right? 26-16, 8 out of 4. 8 first kills, 4 deaths. Very dominant from him. Yeah, nice mid-rounding. And nice plans over towards B. But yeah, relatively in terms of EDG, I wanted to see more how I saw them play the other Haven, which was just a bit more mid-rounding and a bit more pressure around the map, especially towards Garage. It felt like they didn't put too much. Felt like the Killjoy was a big reason why they lost, and just the Killjoy utility being up. Then we go over towards Split. We started seeing this. This guy came alive. Kang was everything. This was the bonus for Liquid. They did win the pistol, and EDG started to take some rounds because of this with momentum. And yeah, it felt a bit more like the Na'Vi game again. Just a lot of frag movies. Frag movie highlights. I do want to quickly just point out this. This trip was a nightmare. This trip actually meant that a lot of the time Liquid, this run was a bit off, the rotates were slightly off here, but it did feel like Liquid, because of this trip, it wasn't getting killed, it wasn't getting hit enough, and it just meant they could stack sites relatively heavy. This was a nice round again from Kang, getting another fast kill, and just meaning that they could flood over towards the site.
For him to land, Safe still on Heaven, looking down, trying to find an easy fight, look at his aim, and that is crispy.
Chichu's aim on a lot of this was massive. This was just a really important round. Keep an eye on the time with this one. Love the updraft that he did here. Just pretty much just baiting where he could have gone, right? The updraft just meant that there was a big question mark either side, so he didn't hit the floor. There was no sound cues, and Nuts just had to kind of gamble whether he was going to play site or lane. And yeah, the 50-50 paid off. Like I said, this trip over towards here was not getting broken all the time. So in terms of this, we could start seeing this. We could start seeing 3-person stack over towards A. And yeah, a lot of the time, that's what we saw. I thought, again, it just kind of felt like EDG were let down by not being able to default too much. The utility of the Sentinel just cost them a few rounds on this one. So yeah, Chichu had a good attempt into this one. Really nice try, but yeah, did get spammed too low with this one. Little bit unlucky with that. But I still thought, again, that the individuals were looking good, and I'm telling you, Liquid pretty much won like 3 rounds in a row because of this trip that you're seeing on the screen. Then they forced them down to eco. It's 5-4, and we saw a bit of craziness. This is the first time, by the way, apart from the pistol, that they actually found and broke this trip. So they finally broke this trip, kind of understood why there were so many people stacking over towards A, and then we saw this. Yeah, the cast is kind of expressing my thoughts on that one, pretty much just gifting them around, especially on the eco. I don't think stuff like that needs to happen, really, for me. And then a little bit more madness ensued as well. They were individually swinging over towards middle. Smoggy having great rounds for sure, but yeah, it just felt a little bit odd. There was just no util into some of the swings over towards middle. Got a little bit confusing. EDG managed to get a 6-6, then they win the pistol. Now we go over towards the bonus round. I love how nobody played this. A little bit unlucky for Liquid. A lot of teams, though, do dog over towards ropes on just for this purpose, right? Nobody hid down below the ropes, dodged the flash, and then got really good timing. But yeah, you have to kind of expect that. That is a good reason, again, why a lot of teams will dog and take garage control. So yeah, I wanted to see that from Liquid, and that was a massive round for EDG to take momentum. Won the bonus, got a lot of upgrades with their guns, and then we started to see these duels as well, just coming into Smoggy. Another 3k for him. Yeah, Liquid looked a little bit rough on their attack half for sure. There was definitely a few rounds like this where it felt like it could have gone either way. A little bit unlucky. 2 of them going down. This was another massive buy round for them, with 3 of them not being able to buy. It felt like Nats was just doing a saving simulator for a lot of this. They were having, I would be honest, in terms of how I wanted Liquid to approach this, I just wanted to just see them dog over towards ropes. It felt like that's what most teams do as a default. I was surprised I never really saw it, and it cost them. I actually feel like it cost them this map, if I'm fully honest. So they had a good half in terms of the defense half, but yeah, that for me cost them a little bit. I definitely want to shout out Chichu. Think he did really good. Can as well started heating up and then really came alive in the 3rd map. So went over towards Lotus, last map of the best of 3, and this is a bonus, like we said. The Cypher for me is just not, it's not what I like. There's multiple reasons. This is one of them. In terms of your default, a lot of times people are putting a turret on top of this box. Because he has a trip close, it means that they can kind of walk up close reactively, and stuff like this could happen. So loved how they exploited this. It did actually go down into a 2-on-4, and the 2-on-4 was played pretty well from EDG. So they managed to keep them in. It did feel like it was a lot of individuals just holding on to actually make this map a bit closer than potentially it should have been. I don't think... I mean, you'll see when it gets into it. Kang especially was just doing some mad stuff. He really was on a heater for this one. Haodong did unbelievable in this round. Yeah, it's so good. Such an important round for them to win. So shout out to him. Shout out to them actually forcing it to a 2-1, and then Liquid won the next round. And then we had this eco, and this was something I felt a bit sorry for Yampy, because this here happened like twice to him, maybe 3 times, where he's just diving on him, getting the gun, and then he even managed to get this 2nd kill with the dog coming in while Redgar's shooting that. So love this. Kang was insane on this map. The amount of first kills he got, we'll show you the stats at the end, it was ridiculous. This was the instant round after, just looking like a frag movie, just feeling himself, just going hunting on his own against the ecos. Yeah, so really good. This guy is super talented. I'm so excited for the future. This team is just incredibly young, and they look very talented. And like we're saying, they have good rounds thrown in there. At the moment, it's still leaning a bit more towards frag movie highlights with some good mid-rounding in plans. But definitely, I'm seeing some really nice stuff from them. And yeah, I'm expecting big things from this team. I think they're going to be like a really big team to watch in the future. This was a weird round where you just see them insta defuse the whole time, and Chichu used his So basically, they go over towards B. Chichu uses his cage at a weird time for me. It's actually kind of odd that Yampi decided to use his ult into this round, but it worked really well. Liquid, you saw on Haven, EDG don't insta-stick the spike a lot. This is something I said in Fish 123 we used to do. Soulcast was a big member of Fish 123, one of the forming members, and this was just a prime example of why you just stick the spike sometimes. People are just not in the right position. The Viper ult came in to block it as well, so nicely done from Nats, and a huge swing round there. Individuals, again, we get into a 3v2, nobody winning a clutch. Nice reposition from him, great flash as well, and yeah, it really was a good play. Then we get over towards this one, and it's like I said with Yampi, felt a bit sorry for him because stuff like this just carried on happening. Just getting opening kills, and then the instant pivot over towards B. Just Kang again. Probably one of the most impact I've ever seen on one half, especially if you consider opening kills. Yeah, crazy. 17 to 9, 1.4 kills per round, and a lot of them, like I'm saying, being the actual entry. So huge from him. Loved what I saw. This was a great round from Liquid. Like I said, this was quite a scrappy game, to be honest. So some of these rounds were quite hard to find. It was a lot of ecos and stuff like that happening. So basically, a flash has just gone over towards C. It hit no one, and Liquid had decided to just push them back here. They had a molly that lands where this X is, and they've done a prowler and an eye to see if they cleared everyone. Really, really good. If you look at the minimap here, pulled everyone over towards C. The flash that came in as well just meant that they could just walk over towards the site. And there's just no stopping power. With the Cypher, there's nothing on the floor, there's no Killjoy util, and you can just kind of walk in. So I love this from them. They manipulated the rotates well. This actually turned out to be a pretty impactful round. Speaking of impactful rounds, we go over towards another one. Money, super low for EDG, and we decide to just have a 7-person duel towards A main. Really important, but Liquid just that step ahead, just had a lot of numbers winning this duel out. And like we're saying, in terms of actually we'll let this one play because Safe hits a nice shot on this. But yeah, every time it just felt like Liquid were just a little bit on top of winning these kind of rounds when it came to the economy. Big rounds where you want to see... I mean, this one was unlucky. This one was unlucky, to be honest, for EDG. Some of the others maybe felt like they could have done better in, but Safe. I'm just going to quickly bring this one back. This is a replay, but basically what happens here is he's just walked over towards here. This again is my issue with Cypher on this map. There was just no stopping power. There was a Prowler that went in, like Prowler's just cleared over towards the right side of site, and he's just walked in. All they have to do is smoke, and there's just nothing here to stop him. There's no instant stop from this comp that EDG are running. There's no Viper util, and there's no Killjoy, so you can just run in, just walk in, and feel absolutely fine. Just take the jewels and just make the space for the team. It just felt like Safe had a fun time playing against this comp because he could kind of just walk into sites, to be honest with you, and that is what we saw a lot of until we went down to the 12th round. Right, they had actually had 5 match points and made this one a little bit closer. EDG does. It's they started doing this all the time. If you look over towards C, they started holding one person here. Early information, the Sky was just flashing to get information here. And we just saw the rotate coming in all the time. So I really wanted to just highlight how they approached this round. And you're going to see it on some of these others as well. And Liquid started to struggle against it. Started getting pretty close. Another rounds where over towards C, if you look at the minimap, we just had a camera. Just meant that the stack could be heavy over towards here. So the rotates were fast. Liquid go over towards A, and there's just too many people here. So definitely loved the change up from EDG. And what ended up happening was Liquid called another timeout. I think Emil played great in this best of 3. I feel like he had a lot of impact. Definitely on Haven with the call against the op, and especially on this round where well, maybe this wasn't too much of his doing, but he at least made this happen in my mind, because a lot of times when you call an attack timeout and you're heavy focusing on your own stuff, the enemies will do something super aggro instead. So it turns into a scrappy round into the 2-on-2. Spike was down, and this was the big kill. Oh, so this guy's mental. He's 1 HP. He is 1 HP with that. right? The tether hits him and he decides to swing out. Like, it is really bold. Chichu in this one-on-one took a little bit longer than maybe would have liked, and Soulcasters held strong into this corner to actually close it out. But yeah, this was it was it was a mad game, a little bit scrappy, definitely some individual stuff in there. But yeah, like I'm saying, saw some good stuff from Liquid. I'm happy that their map pool is looking a little bit better. The Haven was looking great. Their Lotus honestly was pretty decent until they started second guessing themselves and kind of just slowed down the pace a little bit in my eyes. Wanted to just point this out. Like, this is a close game, but a lot of it is down to this. I know we talk about Kankang all the time, but it is for a reason. 30 kills, 19 deaths, 12-1 in one map is outrageous. Like, that is so many first kills. I don't know. I think this might be the record for a game that didn't go to overtime. We would have to check, but I've never really seen 12-1 in regulation time. I thought it was crazy. Kind of excited for EDG going forward. I know they're playing against Loud, but I really like this team. Like I said, super young. Excited for them. And we have Team Liquid playing against EG, which I think is going to be interesting as well, because these teams seem to like the same maps. So I think it could be an interesting game. A little bit longer on this one. Was a best of 3. Was a lot of rounds that I kind of had to cut out, but hopefully you lot get the gist if you didn't get time to watch it. Let me know in the comments if you like this, and I will catch you on the stream in a bit, and I'll catch you on the next video.